Happy Tuesday, happy Tuesday. Talking about business lessons I learned in 2022. Talking about business lessons I learned in 2022. And we're talking about what I plan to do differently in 2023. So this is essentially, I'm excited about today's topic. It's essentially my year in review. This is something I do privately, right, with my team. But I am pulling back the curtains on some of this stuff because I want you guys to learn from my mistakes. And I want you guys to replicate my wins. Now, granted, right, I potentially... If you're watching this, I might be a couple steps ahead of you when it comes to building your coaching business, right? Usually when you're working with a mentor, they're a couple steps ahead of you. So, potentially some of the things I'm talking about may not pertain to you now in this very moment, right? This may be something you need to bookmark, right? Oh, this is something Betty learned. You may need to bookmark this for your building a coaching business journey down the road, right? So some of these things you can act on now. Some of these things you're going to need to bookmark as you build your coaching business journey down the road. So as we're getting started here today, as you are coming in today, drop me a comment to say hello so I can see who's with us today. You can share where you're watching from. It's always cool to see. We get new people joining the group every single day. Where are you watching from? I'd also like to, this is an interesting question I thought about. It's December, right? We're going into January. Drop into the comments on a scale of from 0 to 10, with 0 being I don't feel prepared at all to build my coaching business and hit 6 figures in the new year. In 2023, I don't feel prepared yet, to 10 being I am totally prepared to hit 6 figures in the new year. I know exactly what I need to do. I know the exact strategy. I know exactly what I need to implement in the new year to hit 6 figures. So drop into the comments on a scale from 0 to 10, with 0 being the least to 10 being the highest. How prepared do you feel to start your January 1st with a bang in your coaching business? Meaning come January 1st, you're totally prepared, right? You've got the momentum going. You've got your entire strategy laid out. You've got all the support you need to hit 6 figures in the new year. Drop that into the comments. How prepared do you feel from a scale of 0 to 10 that January 1st, you're like, yep, I know everything I need to do to hit 6 figures in this new year. And I have the support and the tools and the systems I need to do so. I thought that would be an interesting way to start off here. So if you guys see me looking down, that's just me popping into the Facebook group while you guys are dropping in these comments so I can make sure that my video is live and that you guys can hear me and see me and all the good things, and that I can read your comments. Let's see who we've got. What's up, Heather? We've got our lovely Heather Copey today, our resident expert and guidance coach on Team Corporate. Ooh, there goes the voice. Team Corporate to 6-Figure Coach Academy. Heather Copey is our resident expert. Hello, Heather. We got Lori LeBlanc here. Big hugs. Lori, thanks for joining us today. Hallie's here helping us out. Kristen, good morning, Kristen. Nice to see you. Who else we got here? Rhonda, good morning from DC. Love it. Lori, so thank you guys for sharing where you're at. Lori's at a 5, Kristen's at 5, Rhonda is at a 4.5. Fanita, good morning, working on it, half prepared. So everybody center around a 5. So this is good to know, and I'm going to circle back to this topic of how prepared you feel in starting your coaching business on January 1st, right? My question is, come January 1st, do you have the strategy, the systems in place, and the support you need? Strategy, systems, and support. Do you have all of that in place come January 1st to know without a shadow of a doubt, I have all the tools, systems, strategies, and support I need to hit 6 figures in 2023? That's the question. And I'm going to circle back to that by the end of this call. So again, today's topic, welcome for those of you popping in today, business lessons I learned in 2022 and what I will do differently in 2023. What's the point of this topic? So y'all can learn, from my mistakes and so you can replicate my wins. Hey, Steven, what's going on, Steven? Good to see you here, Steven. All right, for those of you who haven't met me yet, we have new people joining the group every single day. My name is Betty Kempa, business coach for coaches, member of the Forbes Coaches Council, IPEC graduate, for those of you familiar with IPEC, ranked one of the top coaches in Denver by Influence Digest, and I am the founder of the Corporate to Six-Figure Coach Academy, where we help corporate renegades ditch the 9-to-5 and repackage their genius into a six-figure coaching business. Why do we do this? So y'all can feel passionate about what you do as a coach, right? I want you to feel passionate about what you do as a coach, right? If you're not ripping the sheets off on a Monday morning when you go to work, you're in the wrong line of work, right? So I want y'all to be full-time coaches, passionate about what you do, and I want you to be able to enjoy the freedom of entrepreneurship, because that's what it is, true freedom. Our secret sauce in this academy is helping coaches transition from corporate and into a six-figure coaching business in two ways. One is that we help you create a high-value, high-ticket coaching package. What's the point of that? Why do we do that? So you can sell 1 to 2 packages per month to replace your corporate income. Versus what I see is going on out there, people burning out selling high quantities of low-ticket coaching packages. And, right, you guys signed up to be coaches, not to have to hustle, make a sale per week to replace your corporate income. That's a nightmare, right? So we do the opposite in this academy. And the second element of our secret sauce is we help you hit 6 figures organically without blowing any money on Facebook ads and wasting time building complicated funnels not needed to hit your first 6 figures. So as always, if you'd like additional coaching support with your business, please check out, there's a link in the copy of this post. So if you click on the video, there's a link in the copy of this post where you can apply for a discovery call with my team so we can learn more about your business challenges and goals. You can ask us any questions, and ultimately we can see if you're a fit for the Corporate to Six-Figure Coach Academy. So again, let's see here, just for kicks and giggles, I'm going to drop a couple of those links into the chat as well for you to book your discovery call and for you to check out the Academy. I just dropped that into the comments there for you. Okay, what other housekeeping? So again, as you're coming in, if you're just coming in, I'm asking y'all to drop a comment, drop into the comments on a scale from 0 to 10. How prepared do you feel to start your January 1st with a bang in your coaching business? Here's what I want to know. Come January 1st, how confident do you feel, how prepared do you feel that you have the systems, strategy, tools, and support that you need? Do you have the systems, the strategy, the support, and the tools you need? Yeah, they're not going to be in place yet, right? But do you have the backup you need? The system, the strategy, the tools, and support that you need come January 1st to hit your financial goals. One last housekeeping reminder. I don't know why I call it housekeeping reminder. I don't know why I say that, but one last reminder. Special limited time offer. This is something fun we're doing. A lot of people are taking us up on this, so it's pretty cool, pretty fun. For those of you who have joined our Facebook group, we're doing something special. We treat people who join this Facebook group, we've got over 2,000 members in here, we treat people as family. Right? So as a thank you for joining this Facebook group, we are personally inviting you to schedule a complimentary 20-minute business strategy call with our resident expert and community manager, Heather Copey, right? So that is something special. We're not going to do this forever. Once she gets totally booked out at a certain point, we're going to have to pull this. But I think especially now with it being December going into the new year, now is definitely the time to make sure, right, you do an audit, that you know what you're missing in your business, what needs to happen, right, in order for you to hit those 6 figures. So Heather, if you could go ahead and drop a link for people to book that complimentary 20-minute business strategy call with you. Here's how it works, guys. Step 1, you book a call with Heather. Heather's going to drop a link for you to book. Now, this is different from the discovery call, right? A discovery call is you saying, hey, I need support. I need to find out, I want to find out more about your program, the academy, right? The discovery call is more about learning about the academy. The 20-minute business strategy call, the complimentary 20-minute business strategy call, this is not a sales call. The discovery call really isn't a sales call either. The discovery call, we are not high pressure, where it's an exploratory call, right? We're trying to see if you're a fit. It's an application-based process. Not everybody gets in. But I'm talking about now the 20-minute business strategy call. This is a complimentary call. You do it with Heather. Step one, you have to book the call with Heather. Heather's dropping into the comments, she just did it, a link to her calendar. So you're going to book a 20-minute call with Heather. That's step one. Step two is Heather's going to send you an audit form, which is very cool, so we can audit where you're currently at in your business, even if you're starting from ground zero. Most people are starting from ground zero. But it's going to help you have awareness, just by the nature of taking this audit, what you have left to do to hit the six-figure mark. So it's going to be very educational for you to take this audit. Now, once you are on the 20-minute call with Heather, she's going to give you a business audit checklist. You're going to receive that. She is then going to dig in with you on what you want to learn as far as what are your business challenges and goals. Why? So she can point you in the right direction with some free business training content that is tailored to your needs. So if you say, I need help with XYZ, Heather will go hunt down that free training content, right? We have a whole library of free training videos, and Heather will hunt that down for you and point you in the right direction based on what you say you need help with. Also, if I don't already have that training created, the other cool thing is I potentially might create a free upcoming Facebook Live just like this, just for you, right? If we don't have that training already in our free training vault. And ultimately, with the 20-minute strategy session, you will leave with recommendations on where you need to focus first in order to get to a consistent six figures. So it is not a sales call. It is a complimentary perk of being a member of this Facebook group. And again, book that with Heather. She just dropped into the comments a link to book the strategy call, complimentary with her, 20-minute call. Okay, I think that's it. So today's topic, business lessons learned in 2022 and what I will do differently in 2023. So this is my coaching business year in review. I'm going to be on this session here reflecting on lessons learned in my coaching business in 2022 and what I plan to do differently in my coaching business in 2023. All right, so I'm going to be doing both of those things with you here today. You can think of me as your personal guinea pig. Right? You can think of me as your personal guinea pig, meaning that I'm going to be testing things out, right? That's what I do for my clients. I test things out. I break things. Let me make the mistakes, right? Let me go crazy out there. And then I share my lessons learned with you all so that you don't have to make the same mistakes I made. You can skip over those potholes by learning from my mistakes. Also, right, by sharing this kind of stuff with you, what am I trying to do? I'm sharing with you the business methods that actually work, right? I'm sharing with you what's actually worked for me so that you can actually replicate what works, right? So if I'm telling you this worked for me, this was really good, right? You can take that and run with it and 10x it in your own business. Also, end of this call, I have an exciting announcement. And I'm very excited about this. Very, very excited about this, like geeked out excited about this. I have an exciting announcement about how I will be disrupting the business coaching industry in 2023. And it's juicy. I am very excited to announce this. I haven't announced it yet. And it is definitely a disruption to the business coaching industry. So that's what we're going to talk about today. So today we're going to cover four things. One, the lessons I learned this year and the mistakes I made so you can avoid them. Two, surprising and major wins that I had in my business this year, in my coaching business, so you can replicate them. Three, I'm going to talk about how I will pivot and do things differently in my coaching business in 2023. And last but not least is that big announcement of how I'm going to be disrupting the business coaching industry in 2023. So as always, I don't want to be a talking head. So if you have questions, if you want clarity, if you want to know something specifically, share away. Drop it into the comments. I don't want to be just a talking head here. Just me and my cats, my office. Let's get started. So lessons I learned this year in my coaching business. Let's start there. Let's start with the lessons learned, the mistakes I made so y'all can avoid them. Hi, Valencia. Valencia's here. Big hugs, Valencia. Nice to see you. Chastity's here. What's up, Chastity? Julie Menden. What's up, girl? Big hugs. Laura Leach. Got all the superstars with me here today. Steve English. What's going on, Steve? Thanks for joining us, y'all. All right, let's get going here. Lessons I learned and mistakes I made. Drop into the comments if you have questions on this topic or quite frankly, any topic. I mean, I want y'all to be thinking about your year And, when it comes to your coaching business, lessons you learned, mistakes you made, and things that went right for you. So share away in the comments. Brian White is here. Wow, all the superstars. What's going on, Brian? April's here. Man, we got the dream team here today. All right, lessons learned, y'all. Number one, first lesson learned this year is regarding my outreach strategy. I have updated my outreach strategy. I'm not using my whiteboard today. I figured I'd just kind of talk you guys through this because this is more just reflection, versus me whiteboarding out, a lesson to you. But I think this will be actually even more valuable. So lesson number one that I learned, I have updated my outreach strategy. Side note, if you are not doing daily outreach in your coaching business, we have a problem. Mayday, mayday, problem. If you are not doing daily outreach in your coaching business, we have a problem. And the goal of everybody on this call today, listening to these words, needs to be to start your outreach. And what is outreach? Right? It's making connections and building relationships and nurturing those relationships, right? It's creating more viewers of your content, right? It's consistently every single day sending connection requests with messages that are, nurturing those leads, right? You're creating real relationships with humans in the DMs. If you're not doing that daily, we have a problem, right? Now, if you're very new and you're like, I don't even know my niche yet, I don't even have a package yet, got it, right? That's part of what I teach people in the academy, right? We get the niche, we get the package, we optimize your social media profiles, right? We do all that first. But the goal is that as quickly as possible, we got to get you to daily consistent outreach, okay? So let me go back to the lesson I learned here. And side note, it's the number one way to get clients. It's the number one way to get clients is through outreach, okay? And if you don't have outreach in place currently and you're like, what the heck is she talking about? I'm not talking about just sending a connection request. That is not what I'm talking about. Outreaching is building relationships with people in the DMs. If you're not doing that, please book a discovery call with us because we need to get you up and running and doing that ASAP for you to hit your goals in 2023. I'm wearing the lipstick today that sticks to the teeth, so I had to check. It's pink lipstick, my favorite lipstick, but it sticks to the teeth. Okay, so here's what I learned. There are different ways of doing outreach. The way that I originally did outreach, I used a 4-part message series to do outreach, a 4-part message series. It was nice because you could automate it, you could delegate it, right? That's how I used to do things. And what I learned this year is that what we learned as a team, you really need to lean into a much more customized approach to outreach. So we've moved to I would say, a more of a human-to-human model of outreaching. So it's less about a 4-part template, a 4-part message series, and it's now more about customized outreach messages. Does it take more time? Yes. Can you outsource this? Yes, you can still outsource this. If you're like, Betty, I don't want to be all day in the DMs, DMing people and building relationships, fine. You can outsource this. There's a way to bring someone in part-time. There's a way to bring someone in full-time. There's a way to bring somebody in part-time where they work on commission and it doesn't break the bank, right? So there are many ways to do this. We teach this in the Corporate to Six-Figure Coach Academy. But what we learned this year is that when it comes to outreaching, it's more about customized messages, nurturing relationships, building relationships, finding ways to serve your connections virtually, finding ways to serve. Rich Litvin in his book, Prosperous Coach, talks about serving. And he talks about, doing all these free coaching sessions. And I'm more about doing that at scale, right? Finding ways to serve people at scale, which is in the DMs, right? Finding out, hey, how can I help you? And serving them that way. And essentially, right, the more you serve, the more you provide value to your connections, right? You build relationships, know, like, and trust. You provide value. You're earning the right to ask for a discovery call. You're earning the right to ask for a discovery call. And, you know, with this kind of new method of outreach that is much more customized based on the human you're speaking to, what we've learned this year is that leads to many, many, many more calls booked, which has resulted in many more clients signed. So this new method of customizing your outreach, right, human to human contact, and whether you do it as the CEO of your business or you outsource it, you can do it either way. We teach all methods. This is the new method I teach my clients, and this is the new method that we use as well. So that's lesson learned number one, right? It's less about this kind of automated, you know, pushing out this outreach to people, and more about customizing your outreach. And there is a method to that madness, right? You never want to, if anybody here is sitting in their inbox and looking at their inbox and, right, you send somebody something like free video, free training content. You're like, here, check this out. Tell me what you think. And they've replied to you, oh yeah, it's good. I like it. Thanks. And then you're sitting there and you're like, now what do I do? All right. Just to tell you, even with customized outreach, there's a method to the madness. There's a series of questions and comments that you work people through to build a relationship with them in the DMs before you've earned the right to say, hey, I think you'd be perfect for this program. Let's get on a call. So I want you to know that if any of you are sitting there looking at your inbox like, Betty, okay, I'm outreaching, I'm sending messages, but I don't know what to say next. Okay, cool. That's why you need to book a call with us, right? That's part of what we teach. We get into your DMs with you and teach you the flow, right, of what that conversation journey needs to look like to move somebody from a cold contact to gaining trust, to valuing you because you're serving them, right, to end up booking a call with you. There is a flow to that, and we teach that in the academy. The second thing I learned this year is around the topic of content marketing. It's around the topic. Now, content marketing is one of my favorite topics. I love content marketing. I love me some content marketing. That's one of my specialties. I'm all about the content marketing. That's how I grew my business to 6 figures the first year. But I still learned some lessons on the topic of content marketing this year. So a couple things. One, I need to do more repurposing, more. Now, I do repurpose my content currently, but I think what I'm trying to say about the lesson I learned on repurposing my content, I need to do a couple things. One, I need to build it into a system, right? It shouldn't be like a random, oh yeah, that was a good video. Let's turn that into a blog and let's grab that and make it a post. This shouldn't be a random thing. And quite frankly, this year, we've had a busy year. We've had a crazy year. We haven't had time to take our content marketing and develop it into a system of repurposed content. So that is a lesson learned this year, is we know what the system is. I teach the system of how to repurpose your content. We need to implement it. So that's a lesson learned from this year. You know, every live video, the live video I'm doing right now, I can turn this into a blog. I can then turn that into a post. I can turn this into a 2-minute video clip with a header and subtitles, right? I could turn this one Facebook Live video into a week's worth of training content, right? So what I'm saying, a lesson that I learned, is while I know how to repurpose, I need to, in 2023, develop that into a system where for me, with the stage I'm at, I will be hiring somebody. And side note, it could be your VA. Now, I've got an amazing VA out in the Philippines who works for a very reasonable rate, who can help me, I have a system to repurpose my content. And here's how I'm going to do that. For 1 week, I'll take a video like this. And for 1 week, I'm going to either use Loom or Zoom. I'm going to record my screen, and I'm going to show my VA or whoever I outsource this to how I'm going to repurpose this content. I'm going to do it myself for 1 week. I'm going to say, look, here's what I did. I transcribed the content. Now I put it in a blog. The blog goes on my website. The blog goes to my LinkedIn newsletter. Look, now I went to Canva. I created a graphic with a quote from this Facebook Live, right? I'm going to do it myself. Cool thing is too, side note, once I create this video sequence of how to repurpose content, I'm going to be doing it myself. I'm going to share that with my clients in the Corporate to 6 Figure Coach Academy. Why? So either they can use that training to do it themselves, or they can hand that video off to their VA and say, hey, VA, from now on, I want you to repurpose my content every week just like this. So that's the cool thing. This is right, going back to me being the guinea pig. I am going to create a training video of me myself repurposing a video just like this so that I have a week's worth of content, and then I'm going to tell my VA, see what I just did there? I want you to do that every week, so that every week we've repurposed the heck out of every piece of content we have. So lesson learned is we need to start that system. We need to get that system in place versus kind of random ad hoc, because otherwise, and y'all know this, everybody, side note again, everybody needs to get to a point. This is the second most important thing in your coaching business to attract clients besides doing outreach. You need to have some weekly free training content, whether that's live video, blogging, or podcasting. But please, for the love of all things good, don't do this amazing free training content. You pour your heart and soul into it, and then it's like, bye content, bye great content, see you later. We got 5 comments on it on LinkedIn, bye. Right? You need to be just like me, implementing a system to repurpose that content week after week, and that's something we can outsource to our VAs for a very reasonable rate. Third lesson I learned this year. Again, this is something I get. Hey, we all struggle with this. I still struggle with this. Is getting my VA, my virtual assistant, up and running with everything, right? Now, let me just back up and tell you guys, I've got 2 VAs. I have a VA, and you guys, when I say VA, for those of you that don't know, I'm talking about a virtual assistant. I have a virtual assistant SOP, and SOP is a standard operating procedure manual. I created it myself, and I share it with my clients too. So I've got a VA, they are running strong, they are operating, they have an SOP, but here's the deal, here's the mistake I made. I still catch myself every so often. I'm going about my day, I'm doing something, and I notice something that needs to be done, and I'm like, oh yeah, let me just do it quick. Anybody else here guilty of that? You do something that you know in your heart, this is probably for my VA. No shame. This is a safe space. No shame, right? I'm even admitting to this, right? So mistake I made, something I want to change for next year, is I'm actually putting a sticky note on my computer. The sticky note is going to say, who else should be doing this? Or who else can be doing this? And every time I catch myself, right, we all have like a million things we're working on at the same time. Every time I catch myself going to do a task, right, I'm going to be making sure that it's an elevated CEO task and not something I can outsource, delegate, automate, eliminate sometimes, right? Who else can do this? And if you're just starting out, right, sometimes it's even just, can this be automated? So that is something that this year I'm working harder to, I guess the way I'm going to be doing this is I'm going to be doing a time audit of my entire week. I'm going to be writing down every single task I do, and then I'm going to be going back over that weekly audit and highlighting all the things that I shouldn't be doing, because I guarantee, even though I have a fat SOP for my VA, there needs to be more on that SOP. I still think I'm doing too much. So that's a goal for 2023, is to make sure that I'm handing off everything that I shouldn't be doing that's below my hourly rate. If it's below my hourly rate, I shouldn't be doing it. And making sure I'm tracking that and handing that off to my VA or my team, right? Fourth mistake I made this year, and I say mistake, you guys know, we're coaches, right? So it's like the word mistake is like, right? There are no mistakes, right? We win or we learn. So you could say, mistake I made, lesson I learned, right? That's the more anabolic way of saying it. The fourth lesson I learned this year is I got to make more use out of good old LinkedIn. Good old LinkedIn. I'm a lover of LinkedIn. I consider myself to be a LinkedIn expert. LinkedIn is how I got to 6 figures my first year in business. I love me some LinkedIn. And I use LinkedIn. You guys know I post on LinkedIn. I outreach on LinkedIn. But I've been neglecting LinkedIn a little bit. right? I have a Facebook group. You guys are in it. You're watching this video. I have over 2,000 people in here. My focus really has been on my Facebook group, which makes sense. That's not a mistake. But I have some great tools in LinkedIn that in 2023, I really want to leverage these tools too, such as LinkedIn Live, right? LinkedIn Live. Now, even though I do my training videos in this private Facebook group, that's one of the perks of joining this group is you get access to these free training videos. But I can use LinkedIn Live for something like quick tips, or I could use LinkedIn Live to say, hey, this is this juicy topic I'm going to go live on next week. If you want to be, if you want to have access to this topic, you have to join my Facebook group. So I should be using LinkedIn, and I don't want to shoot myself either, right? Here I am shooting yourself. Don't want to shoot myself, but I want to use LinkedIn Live more. And I got LinkedIn Live privileges very early on, but the Facebook group has been just such an awesome source for me of clients that I just kind of set it aside. So I'm going to pick that baby back up in 2023. Also, my LinkedIn newsletter. Started a LinkedIn newsletter. I have over 2,500 subscribers, something like that. I also teach my clients how to start their own LinkedIn newsletters. They're great ways to get new clients using a LinkedIn newsletter. I could go on and on about how awesome they are. And I've used it, and I've published some newsletters, but it goes back to consistency, right? And it kind of goes hand in hand with repurposing my content. So I have a LinkedIn newsletter 2022. I did definitely published articles in my newsletter. What I need to do, what I'd like to do in 2023 is repurpose my content, right? And I can transcribe some of these videos and then I can use them for, my LinkedIn newsletter. So, I have like a ton. I guarantee y'all are here watching this video. I don't even know how many live videos I've done so far. I don't even know. I have so many. I want to go back through those, have my VA transcribe those, and then, publish them as LinkedIn newsletters. And I guarantee you guys will be reading the newsletter thinking, oh, wow, I never caught that video. Oh, wow, I never learned that thing, right? So I've got all this juice, all this training stuff that I want to go comb back through and now use for our LinkedIn newsletters. So that is something I learned this year as well. And then I want to say, last but not least, I was talking to Ryan, my significant other. I call him many things. He's my fitness coach. He's a trainer. He's a different type of coach. He's a strength and conditioning specialist. He's my nutritionist. He does all the cooking. What else does he do? He helps me in the gym. He's my trainer. I also always bounce business ideas off him. So I kid with him that he's part of my business board of directors. And I was talking to him getting ready for this live today. And I'm like, can you think of any times this year that I always come out of my office like, upset about something that didn't go right, So he's the king of knowing what that is, right? Because I come out to him and I'm like, that could have went better. And so he reminded me of a couple things. One being during launches. So for any of you that are doing launches, many of you are new and you haven't done a launch yet. We'll talk about that more later. This is something I teach in the academy. At a certain point, right? Once you're up and running, at a certain point, all of you need to be doing some form of a launch, whether that's a masterclass or a week-long workshop, right? I have a boot camp I do. You need some kind of a launch, and why? It's the way to pull in a bunch of clients all at one time. So this is something I teach in the Corporate to Six-Figure Coach Academy. But the lesson I learned is a good reminder for all of you once you start launching with a masterclass or any kind of a workshop or a boot camp or whatever that may be. And the lesson is that you'll often get a lot of people joining your program after a launch on the last day. They come piling in on the last day. It's crazy. Now, it's not always that way. We had an incredible launch this year where we sold out so early on. But that, I think I had twice this year where it was like, a 7-day boot camp and it was like no sales until the last day. They all came piling in, right? We made 6 figures in one day because we made all our sales on the last day of the launch. So what's the lesson I learned? Don't freak out when you're launching and you haven't made any sales on day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4, right? Whatever it is. It's usually the last minute. People are waiting till the stroke of midnight to get in there and make their purchase. So that my lesson learned there, keep your cool, and keep the faith and keep consistent and keep that energy up when you're doing your masterclass or your workshop or your launch, and just know that a lot of people pile in at the last second. Last but not least, lesson I learned, how do I want to say this? The non-sexy stuff in your coaching business, the non-sexy stuff, I'm talking about ops. I'm talking about contracts. I'm talking about the details. I'm talking about monitoring that the money's coming in the right way, the P&L, right, etc. And, a big lesson I learned this year is you have to have all your T's crossed and your I's dotted with the details, the behind the scenes stuff. For example, we had an instance this year. It's the only time it's ever happened and this is before I just hired a full-time operations and customer service person. She's a full-time behind the scenes person. It's the first time it ever happened. Somebody got through the program. They didn't sign their contract. And, however long it was, I don't remember how many months it was into the program, they stopped paying, and they had emailed me something along the lines of, well, I never signed your contract. My jaw dropped. I went, oh, I had to pick it up off the floor. And boy, was that a lesson to learn, right? That, of course, we all know that you don't have a client until the payment is paid and the contract is signed, but it slipped through the cracks. Yeah, we had a busy year, a lot of craziness this year, slipped through the cracks. So lesson learned, automate that stuff, right? That's part of the onboarding process. Should all be automated, right? Somebody comes in, they become a client, they pay their bill, they sign their contract, right? All of these things need to happen. And if you haven't automated it, or at the very minimum delegated it, and you're tracking it, the onboarding process should be tracked in some kind of a spreadsheet or a CRM. It's set up, it's automated, it's streamlined. You got issues, right? So don't make that mistake. All right, so drop me into the comments. Has anybody ever made any of these mistakes or anything similar that I just shared? Or are any of these mistakes going to be helpful for you going forward? Or you can drop into the comments, share your own journey. Love to hear in the comments, what are some mistakes you made this year that you're like, again, let's throw away the word mistake, lessons you learned. Some lessons you learned this year that you're like, yep, learned that this year, not doing it again in 2023. Let's help each other out. Drop that into the comments. So moving on here, I want to talk about, let's get to the good stuff, surprising and major wins I had in my coaching business this year, so you can replicate them. And before I get into that, just checking the comments, making sure I'm up to date here. Hey, Sandy, thanks for watching. Laura says, yep, more personalized social selling. Amen. Yeah, you know it, sister. That's what it's all about. Rhonda, good to see you here. Farah, big hugs. Thanks for joining us, Farah. Latrice is here with us. Jamie, Tim, CR. What's up, guys? All right, let's talk about major win. Major win. So here's something that I want to discuss this, guys, with you. I had, some of you guys know this, I had a major health scare this year. I had a major health scare. It's kind of weird for me to talk about my major wins this year with a major health scare I had, but I'll get to the point. So this year, and again, at some point, my clients are in the loop. I'm very open with my clients. I'm pretty transparent with everything I'm going through, but I don't want to get into it too much, the health stuff that I've been dealing with this year. But rest assured, let me just put it this way. Biggest win I could ever have, look at me, right? I'm doing great. I'm feeling great. I'm on my feet. Life is good. I feel good. So, I went through a lot this year with my health. It's been tough. And honestly, the biggest one I had is, and for everyone, right? Prioritizing my health. And now back on my feet, feeling better than ever. That being said, even with this health scare, and again, just high level, I'm not going to get into it too much. It's for another day, another live. But I was hospitalized. And side note, I've never had health issues. I'm a half marathon runner. I've done triathlons. I've never had health issues. So this really rattled me this year. I had multiple hospital stays. I had multiple surgeries, surgery on my back. I had a full hip replacement. And all that to say, and this is a good lesson learned. This is a good win. Y'all, my business didn't stop. Even with the scariest health scare I could ever have in my entire life, being hospitalized, right, surgeries, my business didn't stop. We kept on running, baby. My business didn't stop. Why? How? Because I have a team in place to carry on my business. Now, some of you are new. You're like, Betty, I don't have the funds for a team yet. Totally got it, right? It's a process. Hiring a team is a process, right? This is something I teach in the academy. You might start with an intern. Then you might go to a VA. Then you might hire your first salesperson part-time. Then the salesperson becomes a full-time. Then you hire your first back-of-house operations customer, right? There's a trajectory of who to hire and when to hire them. This is part of what I teach in the academy. So don't worry if you're like, yo, I'm a solopreneur. I don't have it in me to hire a big staff. I get it. Got it. I was there too. But you do. This is something you rapidly want to work towards. And it doesn't have to be costly, right? It doesn't have to be costly. There are interns. There are virtual assistants that work for very low rates. There are salespeople that will work part-time on commission, so they only get paid when you get paid. I'm just telling y'all, there are ways to do this. There are ways to do this so that you have backup in case something should happen to you, right? Same things with having a mentee. A mentee, somebody, a coach who's kind of in following in your footsteps, who's part-time on your team. And, you can pay them a piece of each sale you make. And, they help with coaching the clients. There are ways to do this. This is what I teach in the academy. Here's my point of the win I had this year. I had a team in place to carry on my business even when hospitalized. I had coaches in place, master business coaches, to support my clients. Right? I had accountability coaches who work one-on-one with my clients. I have a master business coach who's my mentee, who can teach this entire program backwards and forwards and is incredible. I have a money mindset coach. I have a copy coach, right? I have multiple people on my team who carry the team on with or without me. I will never forget coming out of surgery. And by the way, when you're going through a life crisis, this is just me, maybe it's just me, but having a business you're passionate about is really a bright light. My clients were the brightest light for me while I was going through a life crisis. This was the brightest light for me. This is what kept me going because I'm so freaking passionate about this. So please, I guess I just want to put this out there. Everybody's going to go through some kind of a life crisis at some point. Health scare, health crisis, divorce, laid off, fired. Y'all are going to go through something. Nobody's a special unicorn, right? I learned that myself this year. You don't have to put your dream of building a business on hold because you're going through some kind of a crisis. Yes, take time for self-care. Health comes first, but you don't need to put your business building on hold, right? There is a way to do both. That's part of what I teach in the academy. And again, I'll never forget, I woke up from surgery and I was scared going through this year. I woke up from a surgery looking at my phone, right? My coaching business, this stuff makes me happy. It keeps me going. And my person from my team who does my sales tells me, oh yeah, I just closed $20,000 in sales. There's a phone call. She says, I just closed $20,000 in sales while you were getting operated. I was like, what? Right? Like, that is so darn cool just to have a system in place like that. Was the cool part was just like, man, to set up a business that keeps going, even, though I'm getting operated on. I had content marketing, right, that I have set up in a system where I told my virtual assistant, yo, I'm not going to be around to do all this content marketing. I want you to pull from previous posts. We had them all organized the right way. She was able to pull from previous posts and repurpose content. So I was still, nobody would have known that, Betty Kemp is in surgery right now. It looks like I'm still active. We have standard operating procedures of how to run the entire business. So if people had questions, they could go to their SOP. I will tell you guys, my business has gone on to, we've already more than doubled our revenue of what we did last year in business. Even though I have gone through this year the scariest health crisis of my entire life, our business has more than doubled this year, which is kind of cool. The coolest part, more than just like, oh yeah, the business doubled, is that my clients continue to get support. My team is awesome enough to continue to, run the business, right? We had systems in place. We had SOPs. So anyways, that's a win. The business was set up the right way, so it continued to operate without me. And this is what I teach in my academy, right? You don't have to do it all. You shouldn't do it all. And if something should happen to you, which ultimately could at some point, your business doesn't have to stop, right? So that's part of what I teach in this program. My next win. I noticed a lot of people lowering their prices, other coaches freaking out, about talk of the recession, lowering their prices. And I didn't touch my price points. I didn't scramble to create some, low ticket digital course that only gives people a piece of what they need to create success. It's not going to get them the whole way. It's not going to be a transformational journey. People were scrambling like, oh, let me create some low ticket, digital course offer. It's not even valuable to people. It's not even going to get them where they want to go. I didn't do that. I watched other coaches do that though. It's not about your price. No matter what's going on in the economy, it's about the value of what you're offering. And the value of what you're offering needs to be double the price of what you're offering. And the key is you need to be able to communicate to your potential clients the value and the ROI of what it will be to work with you. That's the key. So that was a win. We didn't run creating crazy little weird offers. We didn't do any of that. And again, business has already doubled from last year. Another win. Hiring more team, hiring more staff. We are now staffed with a full-time front of house person. So when I say front of house, she's in charge of sales. We have a full-time back of house person. She's in charge of ops and customer service. I have numerous coaches in my program, accountability coaches. I have a mentee who is a business expert coach who can teach just like I can. Right? She's an incredible coach and can teach master business strategies if I am off that day. I have a copy coach in this program who's been doing copy for 15 years. She's a freaking rock star. I have a money mindset coach in this program who's amazing. We have a new expert every month of this program. So major win was hiring a team. The academy is called the Academy for a reason. It's a team. Rhonda, I love you too, girl. Thank you, Rhonda. Big hearts back to you, Farah. So hiring more team, that was a win. 2 more wins I want to share with y'all. And by the way, when I share these wins, I hope you guys know this. It's not like, look what I can do, right? It's not that like money, look what right? It's meant to inspire y'all that if I can do it, especially with what I was going through, you can freaking do it. You can freaking do it. Right? You just need to learn how to do it. So sharing my wins is meant to inspire you so that you can go ahead and replicate, right, some of the wins that I had. I want you to think about that. And if you don't know how to replicate some of the wins I had, book a discovery call. Let's talk about how to do that. We have it all outlined, right? Next one I had, we had 4 boot camps this 2022. We had 4 boot camps. And every boot camp brought us 6 figures every single time. Every boot camp was a 6-figure boot camp. Pretty darn cool. Our first boot camp of the year was a $225,000 boot camp. All right, it was like Here's what I want to tell you guys about that. I want to make this relevant to you because you guys are like, I'm not there yet, Betty. Why are you even going there? Here's why. The only limits that are there are the limits you set for yourself. There are no limits. So if you think that you can't make 6 figures in a week, think again. If you think you can't make $225,000 in a launch, think again. If I had led my team or myself with limiting beliefs that I'm only going to make, the only limits that are there are the ones that you put there. So again, I want everybody to get to a point. This is what I teach in my academy. This is what I'm going to be teaching. If you're a student listening to this, I'm getting you all to a point. If you're my students are going to be launching at least quarterly. And your launches have the ability to explode your business. My launches have been, a launch can be a master class, or it can be like a week-long workshop, right? There are different variations of what a launch could look like. I talk about the different variations in my program. I teach the different variations in my program. But everybody needs to be launching in 2023, and that's part of what we teach in the academy. And it's okay if you're not there yet, right? It's a more advanced part of running your business. It's something you do once you're up and running. And side note, you got to build an audience first. That's why I say starting outreach ASAP. At any given time, 3% of your audience is ready to buy. So do the math, right? And when I say 3% of your audience, I'm talking about the engaged people that are following you, that are engaged in your content. So that's why you need to start outreaching and nurturing those relationships right away. So what I want y'all to do is think about some of my wins and think about how you can replicate them and 10x them for yourself in 2023. How am I going to pivot and do things differently in my coaching business in 2023? By the way, why don't y'all, let's take a hot minute. Farrah, it's a rock star team. Thank you, Farrah. We love you, girl. Farrah's a Academy member. Drop into the comments. Let's celebrate. What wins have you all had this past year? Drop your wins into the comments. Would love to hear. Let me next talk about how I'm going to pivot and do things differently in my coaching business in 2023. So I'm going to talk about a couple of these things, how I'm going to do things differently in 2023 in my coaching business. Number one, I'm very excited about this, very excited. I am doing an a la carte menu for just my clients. Just for my client. I'm not doing this. Sorry if you're not in the academy. This is only available to people in the academy. I'm creating an a la carte menu where you can purchase. So let's say you join the group program. You're like, I don't have the budget for the one-on-one with Betty, because I can work with people either one-on-one for an entire year, or I work with them in a group program for a year. People can pick. I want Betty one-on-one for a year or a group. I only have a limited amount of one-on-ones as well, FYI. But what I'm telling my clients, I'm going to roll this out for 2023. I'm going to give them an a la carte menu and say, hey, if you want extra support, you can purchase a power hour with me. You can purchase a power hour with me where we knock something out that you need help with. Or you can purchase a power hour with someone on my team. And I'm going to give them different people on my team they can work with. Or you can purchase a power hour with my salesperson who's going to help you with your sales and your outreach. Or you can purchase a ticket to a VIP workshop with me here in St. Petersburg, Tampa area. So I'm going to be doing a VIP workshop. I'm going to only invite 5. There's only 5 spots. It's going to be very, very small and intimate so we can dig in. We're going to have a VIP workshop. Topic TBD. I'm working on that now, where we're going to knock out months worth of work in 1 to 2 days. So that's going to be very cool. People are going to fly out to St. Pete, Tampa, and do a VIP workshop with me. And I also have on the table the ability to purchase a full VIP day with me. Whether that's in person, you can come out to St. Pete, Tampa, or you can do a virtual VIP day with me. So I'm rolling that out only for clients. I just have to keep saying that because I feel bad when people ask, like, can I do a la carte? Only for clients. My clients get everything. My clients get my everything. So I can't do this a la carte with any random person. You have to be a member of the academy, and you are able to purchase, if you want a little extra something to give you an extra boost. I'm very excited about that. Something else I'm doing differently in 2023, I am going to be running my first ever in-person event for my clients. I can't freaking wait. It's complimentary. So you do not have to pay for attending this event. All my clients and any of my new clients, if you sign up with me new, you're going to get a ticket to an in-person event in the St. Pete, Tampa area. We're going to do an awesome in-person event, going to be part teaching, part hot seat coaching, part networking. We'll bring all my clients together. It's going to be amazing. I've never done an in-person event before, and I'm working right now with some event experts on mapping this out so it's the best event ever. So that's going to be something new. Last thing I'm going to be doing new, well, a couple more things here, more podcast interviews, so more of a focus on PR. I had to put that kind of aside this year because our business kind of got very big. You know, we had a lot of new clients. I was onboarding a lot of team members. I had to put PR aside. Now that my team is up and running, going to be able to focus back on PR this year. And 2023 is going to be a big focus on customer service. That's going to be huge. Y'all should write this down too. So customer service, now we're going to be looking for feedback from our customers and really getting up in their business on what kind of support they need to have success. So a couple things we're going to be doing with our clients. We're going to be doing quarterly service reviews. So on a quarterly basis, our operations and customer service manager is going to be getting on a call with them to make sure that our clients are hitting their goals, tracking to their goals, and get feedback from them on what kind of support they need to hit those goals. That's the first thing. We're going to be doing 2 surveys a year, looking for program feedback, probably on January and June, twice a year. And why are we doing such a focus on customer service instead of just like get new people, get new people, get new? We're really, really, really going to focus 2023 on serving the people that are with us. Why? Well, that's the name of the game, is client experience. That's why we're here. It's not just about, oh, we got them in. It's how can I want to give them the best experience they've ever had in their entire life. And really the idea here is that our clients, what we want, our vision is that our clients will renew with us year after year. Year after year after year. That's the vision, right? And that's just what I do. I'm never without a coach. I have numerous coaches that I'm a part of, masterminds. I would never be without a coach. That would be insanity to me when it comes to running my business. So that's our goal too, is that we want our clients to love their experience so much that they want to renew with us year after year, right? Now, why would they do that after a year, right? This is, something we've worked out. Part of it is dynamic content, right? Our Corporate to Six-Figure Coach Academy is not a stagnant one and done program. It's not a digital course. Everything in our academy, from the On-Demand Learning Center to the tools and resources to our monthly guest experts and the topics I teach, are updated frequently and refreshed to reflect the latest and greatest in the coaching industry and trends. Right? So it's dynamic content. Every year looks different. We have new monthly guest experts every single year. Every single year we're bringing in new monthly guest experts. Every single year we're adding new content and tools. Every single year we're collecting feedback from our clients. And what we add to the program is feedback driven, right? Based on their feedback, we add that to the program. So really, really important, and everybody should be thinking about this as a focus versus just let me get new clients, new. Let's look at the people you have, serve the heck out of them, wow the heck out of them, excite and delight them so that our current clients are encouraged to renew with us year after year. And thinking about, right, this is part of what I help people do in the academy, is we look at your program and think about what can we do with your program so that people are inspired to renew with you year after year. So last but not least, before I hop off, one last big announcement of how I will be. I just wanted to point my finger right at the screen there. I don't know why. It's like maybe I need another cup of coffee. How I will be disrupting the business coaching industry in 2023. I am freaking psyched about this. Now, side note, this also applies to all of you. I am always telling my clients, and I'm telling you all who are listening to this right now, all of you need to find and identify the missing link in your industry. I don't care if you're a health coach, a relationship coach, a career coach, a business coach. You need to identify what is the missing link in your industry. Here's what I mean. I have been studying my competitors, my business coaching competitors, and I've been asking myself, what are all my clients begging for, but none of my competitors are offering it, right? That's how you become elevated as the go-to expert in your industry. You look for the thing everybody's begging for, but none of your competitors are offering. My goal and my vision is for the Corporate to Six-Figure Coach Academy to become a one-stop shop for all your coaching business needs. You should not have to go anywhere else. But still, with any business program, what happens, right? You hire a business coach or you join a mastermind, what happens? People have to go out and buy a website, right? And they have to go hire a web designer, and they have to come up with copy from scratch, and they have to do their branding for their website. And what I noticed is none of my competitors are including a website with their business coaching package. How freaking cool would that be? You sign on with a business coach and a mastermind, and it includes a website that is customized to your niche. So that, y'all, is how I am disrupting the industry, the business coaching industry in 2023. I've partnered with the top of the line web designer who not only is he giving me a website to provide for every client who joins the academy, right? We're handing him, here's a website. I've been working with him for the past months. I meet him with him every week. We've been working to customize this website. So he's not handing me his website, like, here, use this. I have my own vision for how the perfect website should look. And y'all can check out my website to see how I think a website should look. BettyKempa.com. I have been working with this web designer for the past months to customize the website that I want to give my clients so that it is delivered in the exact template, copy, format that I know to be the most effective to build your email list, book discovery calls, and present yourself with an elevated brand, right? Your website is your storefront. So this website is going to be the best of the best, and it's going to be included in your membership in the Corporate to Six-Figure Coach Academy. I am so freaking excited about that. So the way it will work is my clients will be able to plug in their info for their niche, right? Everyone's going to have different copy depending on their niche. I'm going to give my clients templates, right? I'm going to be coaching them on how to customize the copy for their niche. They just plug it in to the website template. And we have copy templates we'll be giving our clients to use. They'll plug it in with their niche. They will then be able to use our copy coach to give them final edits. And they will not need to get a business coach and then run off and find a web designer that they have to hire for thousands and thousands of dollars. Right? And this website we're building is highly valuable. This is not a basic looking website. It is the cream of the crop. No other business coach that I know, I mean, call me out if there's somebody else doing this. I want to hunt them down. I haven't found anybody else doing this. So that is how I, my friends, am disrupting the coaching business, people, the business coaching business in 2023. This is a project I'm working on. I'm going to roll it out in 2023. And I want you all to think about, what do you need to do to disrupt your industry? What are your people begging for that none of your competitors are offering? If you don't know, book a discovery call because we need to help you figure that out so you can be in a category of one, right? People will no longer think, oh yeah, she's just another leadership coach. No, she's the leadership coach that does this. All of y'all should be in a category of one. All right, guys, that's it. There you have it. Business lessons learned in 2022 and what I will do differently in 2023. Drop a comment below. What is your biggest takeaway from today's lesson? What is your biggest takeaway from today's lesson? Do not forget, book your discovery call with us. The work you do in December is what's going to set you up for success in January 1st. Don't hit January 1st without having your strategy lined up in December. Book that discovery call. Right? Connect with Heather for your 20-minute complimentary strategy session. And I can't wait to see you guys on the other side. See you next time. Next week, same time, same place, every Tuesday, 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, in the Build a Six-Figure Coaching Business Facebook group. Mwah! Talk to you all next week.